Up From Work podcast. My name's Dave Swillum. Let's get ready to hustle.
Welcome back to the Waking Up From Work podcast. You're listening to episode 92 tonight. Thank you guys for hanging out last night on Instagram, doing the podcast with Rob Azevedo from Granite State of Mind and new published poet and everything like that. Today is my normal time. I'm on a different platform for live, so thank you for tuning in who's on right there. I can't see because I'm using StreamYard, so I don't see who it is, but thank you for tuning in here. I'm trying different stuff this year. I'm going to be trying to live stream on multiple platforms and different platforms than I did last year, not just Instagram now, just to mix it up and see where other people are at, see what's going on this year. So this episode tonight is my normal time, but different platforms that I might be on tonight. And I wanted to take this because we did an interview this week. And down below, if you're hanging live, I've got a video camera on too, so this will be on YouTube for later. I wanted to do a short one on a specific thing that I was thinking about recently that helped me quite a bit for all the 2021 January vibes of goal setting and like planning out the year and everything like that. And just like I always chat with a lot of people and trying to figure out what they're planning, and I've got a mastermind with these audio people that I like to chat with coming up at the end of the month here to see what they are planning and challenge myself and hear some of the things that they might be goal setting for. Maybe I'm shooting too low. Maybe I'm planning something that they have a better idea of, and I want to steal their ideas shamelessly, you know? So I think like talking to people is really awesome when you're in this time to see if you are planning the right stuff for the year or you're not planning enough. And one thing that I've heard with the people shooting low, and sometimes I shoot low, is this concept that I wanted to share tonight, which is the concept of the fish bowl or the goldfish inside the tank concept. And so you've probably heard this story before, or even this like analogy or saying or whatever it is of you buy a goldfish and it will get as large as the bowl that you put it in, right? So the concept is that, you know, I don't know, I think it's just a general ass goldfish that you buy from the store, but the concept is basically that you have a goldfish and say you get it from like the straight up Petco small container, like these poor little things are chilling out in these small containers and they're miserable, right? You get that and you bring it home. If you keep it in that small container, that thing, I mean, they grow like a tiny bit, but they really don't grow. Like even though they age and they have the ability to grow, they really will not grow much because you've put them in a size and shape that they are naturally understanding that they can't grow more than that. Whereas if you get a single goldfish and you don't put it in like a group of goldfish, I don't think you can because they'll murder each other, or maybe that's beta. I don't know my fish people, just so we're clear. This is not a fish podcast. But the concept is you buy a big ass goldfish bowl for this one goldfish, and that goldfish will then grow like substantially to meet that, like pretty quickly too. It's really crazy. But that goldfish will grow to the size of that goldfish bowl. And so that's what's nuts about it. And so that concept is what I'm seeing in a lot of goals for this year. It's what I've learned to do for myself, where maybe I was shooting too low for the goals that I was trying to do. And that's the concept of when you're setting a goal, you need to be planning to make that goldfish tank too big for you. You know, like when you're the little goldfish, and pardon how long I'm like drawing out the same analogy, but it's just so much easier to talk about this way. When you're that little goldfish, say you had control magically on what type of bowl you're going to be in, you need to be planning for the larger bowl, and you're in there and you're like, holy shit, like, how am I ever going to use up all this space? Like, how can I do this thing? You'll figure it out though. And then like, you'll grow to that. The worst thing, and this happens so much, I've done it in the past, And maybe I've overdone it the opposite way of like over planning to be bigger than I can be with this project that I took on. But if we don't know essentially what we're capable of. We don't even have any idea what we can do until like we're in the situation, we have to react to it. And so what happens is people make a plan and they have this plan of, I'm going to do this thing. And that thing might be something they've never done before. So like, that's already a good thing that you're doing that. You're already pushing yourself outside the comfort zone. That's a great thing that you're thinking that way to try that. But they will plan it based off of what they are aware of and know right now. It's natural. It's like you can't know more than you know, right? So people plan these goals and things that they want to get to, but they plan it based off of what they are aware of, what they're capable of for that thing that they're planning. So you plan out something that is a great thing to get to, but you could do more than that. You could do even more than that if you put yourself in a position to grow into it. And so I'm going to just take my example of like what I'm living right now, which has made me think of it a lot. And it's not because it's the perfect example. It's because it's what I know. And it's like what made me like get hit with this realization in the past year. And this current project right now, a lot of people are asking me, you know, when I have people coming out to see a contractor or whatever they are, and they're trying to figure out like, how are you planning to do this? Like how would you put a bathroom here? How would you make this barn stable? Like all the things that I'm doing here, they just don't understand how that would happen from me. And I'm a lot of times answering, and I sound stupid to them. Maybe I am. I'm telling them I have no idea. Or they'll be like, how are you going to get funding for these things? No idea. You know, like there's a plan. There is a plan. I'm not just telling you to try to set a goal that's just impossible. But this project right here is bigger than I need right now. Like I'm doing fine in audio. Like I think that I'm bringing good quality to the artists and clients I'm working with. My business is growing. Like there's a lot of good things that are happening from that. And I don't not deserve to have a recording studio to myself. But this studio that I'm trying to build here and this project that I'm trying to do here are way past my abilities to actually do it right now. Like there's a lot of things that I have no idea how to do the work on right now. It's also the studio itself is going to be top of the line professional recording studio that tons dream of, that I've dreamed of. And quite frankly, I've said this before to my wife and some other friends and things like that. I'm not the audio engineer that can control and deserve that space yet. I'm just not that person. And it's not like me bashing on myself. It's just me being honest. Like there are master audio engineers out there that don't even have the space that I'm trying to build right now. And so I'm aware of that. And I know I need to get to that spot, but I'm planning for the larger fish tank. When I'm talking about that concept, I am planning to build the larger fish tank for myself so that way I have to figure out how to demand that space. Because I know that if I go too small, then there's going to be another growth period that happens. And then I'm going to have to go do some other thing and like build some other thing or like move some other spot or like do some other thing to like get to that growth period. And who knows, maybe I'll be lucky enough that I outgrow this someday in some weird way. Like my business goes some odd direction that I didn't plan. And you can't plan everything. But the point of it is I'm not capable of filling this studio in presence, like in clout yet. Like I don't have the clientele portfolio. I don't have like the skills. Like I don't have what I need to like be that person yet. But I know that I will be that person when it's time. Or when it starts up, I'll be able to be that person enough to fake it, not fake it and put out bad stuff, but fake it like I'll figure it out every friggin' session type of thing. And with building and stuff, I just know that I will learn to do it. And if I start doing it really shitty, then I'll find someone else that can help me out. Or if I can't afford something, I'll find some other way to raise money. But the point of all that being tying into the things that I know to demonstrate it is when you're making your goals for this year, or you're planning out a project, or you're planning this next step that you're going to take with going after something, or you're doing something new, make sure that you're planning to put yourself in a large fish tank. Put yourself in a position that you have room to grow lots and lots and lots to meet the demand of what you're creating, instead of planning what you're aware of right now based off of things that you can do and you know right now, and just doing a new goal and then working in those pretenses. Then you're going to outgrow that literally right when you reach the goal. You'll outgrow it immediately. And that's not worth your time to go after this. You're probably planning, if you're making a goal that's like something new, it's going to be hard for you anyway. You're already investing a ton of time and it's going to be hard for you to get there anyway. So why go halfway? And so, on other episodes in the podcast, I have been, I've said like, just get content going, just start up the business, just start being in business so you can be in business, just start doing these things, like do something versus nothing. So I don't want to put this episode out and discourage anyone and say like, don't do the small steps to get going. That's not what this is about at all. You totally need to like any small step that you're taking to like move towards doing it. Awesome. So I'm not saying to not do anything like that. If you're like having anxiety or scared of taking the step or something, it's awesome that you're doing any step towards it. So if you're taking small goals and things like that, not bashing on any of that. All I'm saying is if you have a big goal, you have a really big dream that you're trying to do and you are taking steps towards it, that big thing, like say you have like 3 things that you want to accomplish this year, or you have like that one thing, like I'm reading a book called The One Thing right now. It's got me super jazzed up. Really recommend it. I'll put it in the show notes if you want. It's about like focus and things like that. But if you have that one thing that you want to do, like I have a lot of things that I want to be a part of in my life and a lot of things that I want to, show of things that I'm interested in abilities that I have. But at the end of the day, my goal is to make my full-time living off of being creative in a audio or studio space. That's my goal. It's been my goal for a long time. That's the one thing that I have to do. So when you're planning that one thing, not the small goals or like the medium goals or anything, that one big goal that you have for the year or for 3 years or 5 years or whatever it is, the time frame that you're expecting, don't plan it based off of what you know right now. Plan it based off of what you see other people have gotten to before, right? Because I've been in some of these studios when I'm at conventions. I've gone to some after parties into some of the studios in New York City or LA. And I've seen some of these studios. And when I'm in there, I'm like, holy shit, like I could never be in this. And I doubt myself. I could never have this. I could never be this. And that's me thinking based off of what I am aware of and my capabilities right now and planning based off of that small fishbowl that you take right out of the stock Petco buy with the Goldfish. It's not planning for giving yourself a space that you have to rise to the occasion, right? Once you're in that situation, you have to. There's no option for you to fail. You have to rise to the occasion to fulfill how much space you just made. And I'm not talking about physical space, but like how much growth you just gave your ability to be at. You have to figure that out, right? Because or else it's a waste. There's no reason to, and you're not going to bail on it after you've invested into whatever that is. And 2, you will grow it. You will outgrow it too quick. It will not push you as far as you could possibly go if you go that way. So yeah, really short episode tonight. I think we're literally at 13, 14 minutes here, but something that I had on my mind that I'm really happy I did, even sitting in this project and waking up every day and being like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Like I'm calling right now, the period's like calling structural engineers and people who are like designers in that way. I've never done that shit. I've never had to do that for any of the home reno stuff that I've done. So I'm in a whole new world here. And every day I'm like, I have no idea how I'm going to do this thing. But I'm so happy that I put myself back into that position, because that means that I've got so much room to grow and fit the shape of that I'm not capable of yet, but I will be someday because I gave myself the chance. So give yourself the chance, give yourself the ability to grow into a bigger plan than you are right now, because by the time you reach it, you're going to be bigger than what you are, and you're going to keep being bigger than who you are later than that. So give yourself a chance, people. Thank you guys for tuning into the podcast. Really quick episode tonight. If you want to see some of the YouTube videos that I'm starting now, I am actually going to be doing this YouTube channel. There's going to be at least 2 videos out a month. Right now for this first month of launch, Meg and I are putting out, I think, like once a week to get this going here. Then I've got one of our first videos dropping tomorrow. If you want to keep up with what we're doing on this project that I totally blabbed on about on this episode a ton and see some of the behind the scenes, look up Waking Up From Work podcast on YouTube, or you can see in the show notes of this episode when it comes out. I have that in all of our show notes, links for these podcasts. We're going to be doing the behind the scenes of the build. So we're going to be showing the renovation stuff. We're going to be talking about the mindset, the finances, the budgeting, raising money, starting businesses, zoning, like all the shit that I always ask people because I just don't know it. We are going to share that through the process. And if for some reason there's some piece of content in that process you're really interested in, you're like, how did you do this thing? Or what did you run into in that? Definitely hit me up on here on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, email, connect with me, let me know, because I want to share it. I'm going to share absolutely everything that we run into, the good, the bad, and the ugly on there. And I'll keep blabbing on it as an example on here. But thank you guys for tuning in live. First time trying Facebook Live with the StreamYard thing, and we'll be on more platforms more frequently for these Thursday nights. Thank you guys for tuning in on YouTube and on the podcast. Really appreciate you guys, and have an awesome week. Kick some ass.